Alan saw Clerks 3.
Ooh.
And I want to get your early, just give us a little bit. We're going to get back to, I promise we're going to get back to Rings of Power and House of the Dragon. But I have not seen Clerks 3 and Alan did. And I want to get your honest early reaction, Alan, because I'm not really going to get to talk to you on Friday all that much, right? So, Alan, what did you think of Clerks 3?
You know, gosh darn it. You know, Clerks 3, the first Clerks was cool for one reason, and it was an indie film. You know, it was in black and white. It was shot on film. It was kind of Kevin Smith's, you know, rise to fame. And so there's this coolness factor. And I think in Clerks 3, he was trying to resurrect some of it, or just bring, you know, it's one of these, this is the last chapter of Clerks. And so we've got to make this movie that brings back all the memories and all the feelings of all the characters, even the dead ones, and then present it this way. And I just felt like, you know, I just not that impressed by it as a film, by it as a sequel. The story is basically Randall. He suffers a heart attack. He almost dies. And so as a way to cement his legacy, he decides to become a filmmaker and make a movie, something he's always wanted to do with the rest of his life. And lo and behold, that movie winds up being Clerks. But this movie is about making that movie. It's about the friends he's made along the ways and honoring those friends. And then, you know, there's Dante, who is there by his side, ready and willing to do everything that Randall needs. And you realize that Randall is more invested in the film than he is about this lifelong friendship he had with Dante. And that's kind of how this plays out. You're gonna find stark differences between Clerks and this one. Clerks was shot on film. It was shot in black and white. This was shot in color and on digital. And so there's a coolness factor that immediately goes away. Also, if you have not seen Clerks 1 or Clerks 2, this movie's not going to mean a whole lot to you because there's so many callbacks, so many returning characters. I will say the only thing I really liked about Clerks, I'm looking it up just because I need to get the name, was the character Blockchain Coltrane. You know, it's the guy who shows up. He's part of the Christian crypto club. And when Randall gets his heart attack, he denies God and becomes a Satanist. And then his character just changes throughout the movie. And I really hated the character at the beginning, but I really started to embrace that character near the end. But other than that, you know, it is what it is. It's an homage to the View Askew universe. And there you go. That's Clerks 3.
Is it like Endgame, like the portal scene where every character comes back at the end?
Not like that, but a lot of characters do come back. And like I said, even the dead ones.
Okay, well then the other thing I would ask is about it, because I haven't seen it. Like, basically, you have to be a super fan of Clerks 1 and 2 to actually enjoy Clerks 3.
I think you have to be a Kevin Smith super fan as well.
Right. And then do they actually show pieces of the Clerks movie? Do they cast like younger characters or younger actors to play them young?
Yeah, thankfully, no. Thankfully,
they don't?
No.
Wait, they play themselves?
Yeah, but you know, they're tricks. There are tricks behind that. So
there's a movie within the movie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you know, let me say this one. It is not a movie within a movie, but the movie is Clerks that they're making. And you have to watch it for that to make sense, but it will make sense. It doesn't bog itself down with trying to make Clerks. It really tips its hand at the end of the movie. But you know, it's really about the friendship between Randall and Dante at this point.
Gotcha. All right. Well, would you recommend Clerks 3? Because if you're a fan of Clerks and Kevin Smith, you know, I would recommend it. For everyone else, I don't think you're going to really understand what's going on in this movie. But like Alan, you see a lot of movies. I think you see more movies than I do. Yeah. Okay, look, the reason I'm not excited about it is I think this movie lost the edge that I liked in the first Clerks movie.
You know, this becomes what I feel like I've always felt like the evolution of Kevin Smith is that he became less cool over time. And I feel like this movie is an indication of that.
Well, is it sort of a self-insert? It's like, I'm going to be a filmmaker. Like, to me, some of the worst films, like whenever I hear a filmmaker talk about like I'll be at a film festival and some filmmaker's like, yeah, I made a movie. It's about a filmmaker. And I'm like, no one cares. No one cares about a movie about, I mean, like, unless it's someone famous or it's a documentary, fine, whatever. But it's like a small indie filmmaker and the lead character in your movie is a filmmaker. I always cringe and try to avoid those movies because I know they're going to be bad. But what are your thoughts on that? Does it feel like is a little like autobiographical? Like,
not really. And see what you're asking me is my whole point about this movie. There's not much clever about it. There's not much other than the memories of Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob. There's nothing really clever behind it. There's nothing that really, it's not satire. It's just kind of, hey, let's bring the gang together and make a final movie.
Okay, but also just the story seems a little bit like Kevin's life. He did suffer a heart attack, where he did almost pass away. It kind of changed him, and the heart attack, I mean, he just started caring more about his health. And he's got that sort of gaunt, looks too skinny for his body type, like a lot of people in Hollywood. When you see them, you're like, oh, you look very unhealthily skinny.
Yeah.
Right?
But at the same time, he just had a heart attack, and so I'll let him pass on that one.
But this is what happens with Randall in the movie. He has a heart attack, and he's like, I want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah, but it's about it's not about your health. It's not about Randall's health. It's about fulfilling that dream of becoming a filmmaker. That's more Randall's motivation than surviving the heart attack.
Well, my understanding. My understanding is the movie is not getting a traditional release. It's like one of those like Fathom Events things. So it's opening. Yeah,
it's definitely going through Fathom Events, and then it'll most likely go to VOD, which I think says a lot about the quality of the film. That I don't think it's suitable for the theater. I don't think it's got enough mojo behind it to draw people to the theater. And I think Fathom Events is probably the best way to see it.
But if you do want to see it, I think it's next Tuesday.
Yeah, if I were to guess,
Tuesday. So, all right. Well, there you go. Your mileage may vary. Alan, do you recommend Clerks 3?
Again, if you are a fan of Kevin Smith, yes. If you're not, no.
I want to know what Alan thinks.
No, I'm a moderate fan of Kevin Smith. I think he's done good stuff. I did like Clerks. I did like a few of the movies along the way. I've just never been this kind of, I've never. I get him. I just, I think to me, he seems a little overrated.
All right. Here we go. Let's go to some comments here. Fuzzy says, I've got a screenplay of a guy who has to review bad indie films. Sounds good. Gunho Mac, Kevin Smith outed himself as a fake nerd. And then Dragon Balls says he just constantly spouting the woke talking points and whining about the trendy complaint du jour. So Mavis Beacon. Oh, I took your typing.
Oh, hey, Mavis.
I love Mavis Beacon.
I'm giving you money.
Doesn't help that he wears the same size clothes from before the heart attack. He does look a little like he's going to get his 5th grade school pictures. It's picture day in 5th grade, and he's just wearing those clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, you do see.
I will give him a pass. He had a heart attack, and he wants to live. And so, yeah, be skinny, please. Live forever.
We're gonna go through these comments about Kevin Smith. We're gonna go through some of them. We're gonna get back on. We've got some other movies to talk about here. Infinite Main. Kevin Smith killed He-Man twice and replaced him with She-Man. He's dead to me now. Fair enough. Patrick Lemire, my favorite Kevin Smith is when he tells stories about making films rather than the films themselves. He's so insufferable now. He's seen my last dollar. Okay. Thomas Tulak, I really don't understand all this Kevin Smith hate, guys. A lot of people still like him and his movies. And there are so many other things to rally against, like Rings of Power.
Yeah. I don't hate him. I'm just not, You know, I think I felt like this movie was a little more safe. I mean, there was certainly nothing safe about Clerks, Mallrats,
Well,
Chasing Amy, even.
if you
I feel
wanted
like
to, if you wanted to cancel Kevin Smith, he's got plenty of movies.
Chasing Amy.
I mean, there are plenty of movies you could watch, and there you could, if you wanted to be offended, you can be offended. I am not going to be offended.
Yeah, I'm more on board with the offensive Kevin Smith than I am with where he is now.
Aaron Gray, movies about movies are chauvinistic and always suck. Phil W. met Kevin Smith and the entire cast of Clerks in Orlando. I'll tell you what, those guys know how to take care of their fans. Their line was packed, went to the extra mile for the fans. Yeah, I do know that. Like people have even said like Kevin Smith stalks his own fans. He does care about the fans. Maybe just a little too much, you know, from the, you know, like he is kind of thin-skinned. And especially when fans, I don't think that there's criticism that isn't, they're valid criticisms. The He-Man thing, which I actually don't really care all that much about. Mm-hmm. I was never a He-Man fan, so didn't really matter to me. That cartoon annoyed me when I was a kid because I'm like, this is just a commercial for toys. Wake up, kids. It's just a commercial for toys. You're being lied to. But there are people who love He-Man, and I respect that. That's fine. But yeah, you're right. Kevin Smith will stop and take a picture with anybody and have a conversation. So there you go. And John Wahlbacker. I'm looking forward to it. Clerks was important to me as a kid. Clerks 2 as I was becoming a man, and I'm hoping Clerks 3 will hit me where I am today. It's like growing up with these characters. I plan to see Clerks 3. I don't care what Alan says. I don't care what Alan says. I will see Clerks 3, and I will tell you if Alan was right.
Yeah, you make a good point here. There is that growth. You know, they were kids in Clerks, becoming man. This one, they're our age basically. they're old guys.
They're old.
Yeah.
Want Biscuits. If there was a Clerks movie I'd watch, it would be an animated version of Blunt Man and Chronic with a very comic book feel a la Sin City. That would be fun. Patrick Lemire, what is it about losing a lot of weight that makes people unfunny? Kevin Smith, Jimmy Kimmel, Penn Jillette, Drew Carey. I see a trend.
I'm not sure the weight has anything to do with it.
It's a sequel of a sequel of a sequel. Those normally fail. Third movies is hard.
Yeah.
Even The Dark Knight Rises didn't quite stick the landing. Return of the Jedi. I had problems with Return of the Jedi when I saw it in the theater. I've grown to appreciate parts of it, but to me, it's not everything I wanted it to be.
It's missing a lot of the edge from the early film and those OMG moments of I can't believe that just happened. It's not there.
So it's Kevin Smith playing it safe.
Yeah.
Bass player 2011ify, Clerks is overrated. Scotty says nostalgia bait, but pretty much sums up Kevin Smith's movies after Mallrats. Tila kills Silent Bob with He-Man's sword, says Gun Ho Mac. Jillian N. Kevin Smith's coolness factor has been dying out for decades. And Jillian, thank you for being a member. Marby Dog says Kevin Smith gets no more of my money. Okay. Same thing with Yosef Productions. Kevin Smith won't get any of my cash. Okay, I get it.
Don't give me any money then. Don't.
Yeah. Not the Batman says, I do find it funny that Hollywood is never going to let Smith direct a superhero movie, no matter how many sets he visits and cries on, and he was just regulated as CW stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. CD Stein 69 for $4.99 says Kevin Smith has turned into the thing he always said he made his movies against. He has kind of become co-opted into the system. He's not there. And I was having this conversation with this guy, Jack, who I met at the John Williams concert on Sunday, which was a blast. That John Williams concert, he's 90 years old. He played music from Indiana Jones 5. Yeah, Kevin Smith was alternative, and but what I admire about Kevin is he has built this audience, and he is responsive to fans, but I think that he doesn't respond well to criticism.
Yeah. So I guess the question would be could he make Clerks and Mallrats today? And if the answer is no, could he explain why? Because we all know why he can't make it, but is he willing to accept that it couldn't happen?
Patrick Lemire brings up a good point. Only 11 likes Smash that like button. Yeah, absolutely. Smash it. And Jillian N is a member. Being a member is the best. Thank you, Chris and Alan. Wait, this weekend, Alan's going to have special coverage direct from D23. Dracamos says Kevin Smith's Superman movie would have been good.
It sounded good.
Infinite Main, Kevin Smith is dead to me now. Snoochie Boochies says Ferd Turgeson.